Hello, welcome to LC Screen Talk. My name is Larry, and this is my review of Dracula Untold.
Welcome to your life. There's no turning back.
First, there was Underworld. Then we brought Frankenstein back to life. And now we have Dracula. Or do we? Yes, we do. Dracula Untold, from the marketing to me, seemed like just a generic, action-y kind of new take on old monsters that we know and love. Turns out, the marketing did not mislead us. I think Dracula Untold, overall, is a serviceable, good time that I won't remember in 2 days' time. But let's go ahead, jump right in with the positives. So the budget on this film was about $70 million, and the effects looked really great. I love that famous shot from the posters and from the trailers of the bats all coming to form Dracula, and it looked great each and every time it happened throughout the entire film. And I love that they used that inventive way to use the bats to kind of like create him and make him move faster and all that kind of stuff. Also, the visuals just in general were nice. They did a great job of world building here. The landscape shots were gorgeous, and when they did the really wide shots, it rivaled almost anything we saw in great epic action adventures such as Lord of the Rings trilogy. Cinematography was also really strong, so we had some creepy imagery that moved into majestic scenery, that moved into awesome visual effects, and then we had great makeup work. So the devil version of Dracula that we meet a little bit in the trailers, his makeup looked really creepy, really awesome. And we did have a few jump scares to go along with that kind of creepy makeup type thing. I also want to give the actors some credit because I think they did the best as they could with the script they were handed. Luke Evans was really great casting for this role. He went for it, he put his all into it, and I think he really brought something to this character. Unfortunately, I don't think he or any of the other characters can quite save the subpar writing, but you could really tell that they didn't think this was a joke. They wanted to put everything they had into this film, and they believed in what they were making. Dominic Cooper was our villain here, and I thought he was really strong. And Sarah Gadon is our main love interest queen, and I thought she was very good as well. She's also gorgeous, and I know I've seen her in a few things before, but her eyes are so pretty. It's a little bit distracting at some parts because of the beauty shots that they do on her. But overall, I give the actors credit for trying, for giving it their all, and looking to bring some dimension to these characters. I'd say the weakest was definitely Dominic Cooper. I thought he was a little bit of a caricature through most of it, but oh well, can't fault them too much when the writing was what it was. And I'm gonna go ahead and let that lead me into the negatives in the film. First off, the writing. It was very subpar. It was very cheesy writing throughout the entirety. And they really tried too hard to set this in an old school Slovakian nature. And I think it backfired, and it really did feel cheesy about force. And it didn't transport the audience back to the intended era. Instead, it felt like a play. It felt, like Halloween time, dress-up time. And then the accents that the actors did, Luke Evans especially sometimes, really sent it into Cheeseville, and some of his pausing was super awkward, and it just was so cheesy. I know he tried to go for dramatic effect, but it just really went into cheesy land, and it wasn't helped at all by the direction. So there were literally 5 times in the first 20 minutes or so, maybe 30, that the director literally had him deliver all but maybe one word of his line, pause, turn to the camera, zoom in, deliver the last line, and it was just so awkward. The director also insisted, especially again at the beginning of the film, of doing really close-up shots of the actors' faces when there was no purpose for it. I don't know if he was trying to be artsy. I can't really tell what the director was going for, but it was just terribly awkward, and you were like, why is this happening? And it really was a huge contrast to the beautiful wide shots, the landscaping shots that happen to help set up the entire realm that we were a part of, to then have these really awkward close-in shots that nobody really wanted to see. And I also wish, since this was a Dracula movie, that we had more horror. I knew it was going to be really actiony right from the get-go, and that's what it was. There was little hints of horror moments, but it was just an action movie that, you know, you slap Dracula's name on. This wasn't really a Dracula tale at all. It could have been any vampire, or it could have just been a new bat guy that they made up on their own and could transform to bats and transform back to a human and could fight. So that's what it was. There was no Dracula stamp on here. You knew it was a vampire by the obvious signs that they did with the silver, some things with the cross to the other vampires, to the sunlight. So you knew it was vampires that we were dealing with, and of course the bats and blood-sucking. But it was just cliched, tired tropes that were pushed into our face to remind us that we were watching a Dracula movie, because nothing screamed signature Dracula. It was a generic, dark-toned, fairy tale-ish version of an old story we've heard before that had the action, that had the creatures, and nothing felt new here. And I think that's what really keeps Dracula Untold from being a good movie. It's an okay movie. I would recommend it maybe for a matinee. I'd say it'd be a strong rental. Once it comes to Redbox, I'd say check it out, because it's a fun Friday night flick to watch if you have nothing on your Netflix queue. But it's definitely not worth the full price of admission. And even a matinee, there's definitely much better movies out there right now to see. So, that has been my review for Dracula Untold. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, go ahead and click like down below, and subscribe while you're at it so that you're always up to date on the latest videos. I love you all so much for your support. Mwah. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.